Admiral Zexai's 3 hearts beat in staggered rhythm as she watched the tactical display dissolve into chaos. The Cytherian swarm had broken through the outer perimeter, their biomechanical ships flowing like a disease across the star map. What had begun as a coordinated defense of the Andoris system was now a rout. "Admiral, the stellar wind is venting atmosphere," reported Commander Thos, his mandibles clicking in distress. "Captain Veltara requests immediate evacuation." Zexai's scaled fingers tightened on her command throne's armrests. The Galactic Coalition had assembled every available warship to stop the Cytherians here. If Andoris fell, the plague ships would have a clear path to the core worlds. Now, with 40% of their fleet reduced to debris, that grim possibility seemed inevitable. "Tell Captain Veltara to maintain position. We hold the line." The words tasted like ash in her throat, but she spoke them anyway. Honor demanded it, even in the face of extinction. The view screen flickered, showing the lead Cytherian dreadnought, a twisted amalgamation of metal and flesh that pulsed with bioluminescent veins. It had already absorbed the wreckage of 6 Coalition destroyers, integrating their technology into its ever-growing mass. The creature ship's weapons weren't fired so much as grown and expelled, launching volleys of crystalline spikes that punched through even the heaviest armor plating. "Admiral," Communications Officer Drain spoke up, her voice tight with controlled panic. "We're receiving scattered reports from across the fleet. The Crimson Dawn has lost main power. The Nebula's Edge is dead in space. The Antaron battle group is requesting permission to retreat." Zexai closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of 300 billion lives pressing down on her shoulders. The Coalition had gambled everything on this defense, believing their combined might could stop the Cytherian advance. They had been wrong. "Admiral," Tactical Officer Renvak's voice cracked with excitement. "I'm detecting a massive hyperspace signature on the system's edge. Grid reference 779. The bridge fell silent, except for the distant vibrations of battle. Zexai opened her eyes, focusing on the tactical display. A single contact was materializing from the swirling chaos of hyperspace, larger than anything in the Coalition fleet. "Identification?" she demanded. Renvak's tentacles danced across his console. It's human, Admiral. Registry indicates it's the indomitable will, flagship of the human colonial navy." A murmur rippled through the bridge crew. The humans had been silent partners in the Coalition, contributing resources and intelligence, but keeping their military forces in reserve. Many had whispered that humanity was waiting to see which side would win before committing their strength. The massive human dreadnought dropped out of hyperspace with a flash of exotic radiation. It was 1.5 kilometers of angular gray metal, bristling with weapon emplacements and radiating the cold efficiency that marked human engineering. Unlike the organic curves of Antaron ships or the crystalline geometries of Zephyrian vessels, the human flagship looked like what it was: a weapon built for war. "Incoming transmission from the indomitable will," Drain reported. On screen, the face that appeared was weathered and scarred, with the pale skin and dark eyes characteristic of Earth's northern continents. Admiral Sarah Chen wore her uniform-like armor, and when she spoke, her words carried the weight of humanity's industrial might. "Admiral Zexai, this is Admiral Chen, commanding the Human First Fleet. We're here to assist. Transmitting tactical data now." As Chen spoke, more contacts began appearing on the edge of the system. Not just ships, human ships. Dozens of them, ranging from sleek destroyers to massive carrier vessels that dwarfed even Cytherian bioships. The humans hadn't sent a token force. They had sent a fleet. "Admiral Chen," Zexai replied, struggling to keep her voice steady, "we are grateful for your assistance, but the situation is dire. The Cytherians have overwhelmed our defenses." Chen's expression didn't change. "Understood. We've been observing their tactics. Stand by for coordinated strike. The human fleet moved with mechanical precision, their formation shifting into attack configuration with the kind of synchronized movement that spoke of countless hours of drill and preparation. The Indomitable led the charge, its massive bulk accelerating toward the Cytherian swarm with surprising speed. The first volley from the human ships was unlike anything Zexai had ever seen. Instead of energy beams or kinetic projectiles, they fired what appeared to be metallic spheres. The spheres struck the lead Cytherian dreadnought and detonated, but these weren't conventional explosives. They were nanite swarms, microscopic machines that began systematically dismantling the bioship's organic components at the molecular level. The creature ship writhed in space, its bioluminescent veins flickering as the nanites spread through its structure. Within minutes, the massive dreadnought began to come apart, its stolen technology falling away like shed skin. "Remarkable," breathed Commander Thos. "They're using the Cytherians' own adaptive nature against them." The human fleet pressed their advantage, their weapons systematically targeting the bioship's organic control nodes. Where coalition energy weapons had been absorbed and adapted to, the nanite swarms proved impossible for the Cytherians to counter. The creatures could adapt to energy and kinetic attacks, but they couldn't evolve defenses against molecular disassembly fast enough to survive. One by one, the Cytherian ships began to fall silent, their twisted hulks drifting powerless through space. The swarm that had seemed unstoppable minutes before was disintegrating under the precise, methodical assault of human technology. "Admiral," Drain reported, her voice filled with wonder, "the Cytherian fleet is in full retreat. They're breaking off and heading for the outer system." Zexai stared at the tactical display, watching as the bioships that had terrorized half the galaxy fled from the advancing human fleet. In less than an hour, Admiral Chen had accomplished what the combined might of the coalition had failed to do in 3 days of fighting. "Admiral Chen," Zexai said into the communicator, "on behalf of the Galactic Coalition, I offer our deepest gratitude. You have saved not just this system, but possibly our entire civilization." Chen's scarred face allowed itself a small smile. "The pleasure was ours, Admiral. Humanity has been preparing for this day for longer than you know. The Cytherians aren't the only ones who can adapt." As the human fleet moved to secure the system, Zexai realized that the balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted irrevocably. The humans had revealed themselves not as junior partners in the coalition, but as its newest and perhaps most formidable members. The war against the Cytherians was far from over, but for the first time since the bioships had emerged from the void, victory seemed possible. In the cold depths of space, the Indomitable will turn toward the next battle, carrying with it the hopes of 1,000 worlds and the promise that humanity would stand against the dark.